Hey guys, RyRy McGUY here. You can call me Ryan, and welcome to my channel. We're filming Flosstube number 5 today, and it's the week of April the 11th, which happens to be my birthday week. Yay! I'm actually not a big birthday person, but you know what? I think the older I get, the more I don't mind. I'm getting into it. That's cool. It's happening. So, yeah, so if you're new here, welcome. It's a channel about cross-stitching, sewing, knitting, needle arts in general. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. And especially thank you for those who have subscribed. I'm over 1,000 subscribers now, and honestly, I didn't think that would happen. I didn't know when that would happen. I'm truly very grateful. So thank you for watching. And I think in recognition of that, I'm going to do my first giveaway later on. So thank you for joining me. I don't have a list today. I didn't make a list. I just made a pile of everything that I wanted to talk about today. So we'll just tuck right in. I think maybe first off the top, if you do subscribe, you might have noticed I put 2 videos out sort of back to back, and neither one of them were official. Well, one was an official Flosstube. It was documenting my experience at a Stitch North retreat, and then I followed up with a packing video. So I got some really great response, so thank you for watching. I think a recurring question that people had was the name of the stand that I bought. So it was, I'll just show it to you again. This was the stand. It's a clamp stand. There we go. It's a clamp stand. It's fully adjustable. You can fit a hoop. You can fit a Q-snap. And what I liked especially is you can flip it over to get both sides quite easily. And I bought this actually on AliExpress. If I do know that other people have it available, or other retailers. You can check Amazon, you can check Etsy, and I think if you just do a search on wood embroidery hoop stand clamp, yeah, it's a mouthful, or do any combination of those, you should be able to find something, if not exactly like this, something similar to this. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it, and I'll definitely be using it regularly. I have to apologize. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so forgive. I think the sort of Kathleen Turner kind of overtones. Let's talk about work in progress. This is what I stitched at. Well, I started stitching this at the retreat, and it's the Chronicles of Narnia. Stitch and read along. I'll share an image here and the details just down below. And this is my progress right now. If you watched my last Flosstube, you'll notice I didn't get too far. I got this little bottom section here. What you might notice is this fun needle minder. Anyways, I do enjoy stitching this a lot. However, there were a few too many color changes for me to really keep on top of focusing on what was going around me at the retreat, as well as stitching. So I think after I did this section, I put it away and worked on another project. And that other project, let's just put that over there. My other project, I think we can consider a bit of a work in progress, bit of a finish. I am doing La-Di-Da's, one of their bunnies. They have 3 in this series, and this is Sweet Pea. And I chose Sweet Pea because it's the month of April, and the flower of the month is Sweet Pea for April. So I thought that this would be sort of apropos for the period. And this is what I stitched pretty much exclusively at the retreat. I got quite a bit done. Well, I could show you where I started, which was 0, and I essentially finished it. I finished the stitching, and I started the final finishing, and you can see there's my little bunny. I'll tell you, those ears were no joke. Those ears were no joke. I don't know if I have the sampler hair, which was part of this series, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch it because this ear almost killed me, figuratively speaking. I mean, the tail was cute. I like the floss that was used, and I like the size. It's really cute and compact. A little secret here: I did not close it up yet. I just need to hand stitch this closed, and the reason why is I want to put a cardboard insert just to help stabilize the bottom, and I know that it's a tradition to use buckshot to help weight the bottom, you know, just to make it a little more stable, but I don't have buckshot. And people had suggested using pennies or washers, and I think I've got some pennies lying around, so that would be a far more affordable option than actually buying something specific like buckshot. So this is my finish and kind of my final finish work in progress. So sweet pea. Oh, and Betsy and Nikki, yeah, like I said, I think one bunny is enough. Putting this together was so insanely difficult, turning it inside out. I chose to sew it rather than do the hand stitching, and getting this part right side out was nearly impossible, but I persevered. I did actually interface the back, so I think that helped stabilize the linen a little more, so when I was tugging and pulling, it wasn't so much of a problem. So yeah, there's my bunny. Happy Easter. Oh, speaking I'm going to be all over the place today. Thank you for watching. Speaking of Easter, if you've watched my other Flosstube videos, you'll know I have some Ukrainian heritage. Well, I'm 3/4 Ukrainian, actually, and at a very young age, well, maybe 7 or 8, or maybe 9, my mom's sister sent us a Ukrainian Easter egg decorating kit that she had assembled, and it's called piosenka or piosenki, the Ukrainian Easter eggs. I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm lucky enough to actually I still have the very first one that I made, and I have a few others that I've made over the years, and I also have some that my grandmother had, and I'm not sure. I don't think she made them, because I have no recollection of her sitting down and doing Ukrainian Easter egg decorating. But I also can't imagine that they would have been shipped from overseas, from Ukraine. In any case, they were in her possession, and they were passed on to me. So if you can indulge me, I'll just show you a couple. This was the very first. This is the very first piosenka that I made, and if you're not familiar with it, it's essentially using a wax resist dye method. So you melt beeswax, you have a little stylus with a very fine point, you draw lines or your motifs or images, and wherever you draw a line with the wax, it prevents the dye from being absorbed. And then you put it through a series of dyes from lighter to darker, and then between each dye dip you add more to the designs. So it would go like from yellow to orange to red to black, that kind of concept. Of course, there are many different colors that you can use, but yeah, so this was my very first one. I think I was, yeah, like I said, maybe 8 or 9. I got better over the years, and this was the second one I made. I might have been 12 or 13. There's a lot of symbolism, important symbolism and motifs, and yeah, there we go. That's reading pretty well, and yeah. Well, this is a channel about cross stitching, and here I am showing you Easter eggs. But I'm just going to show you one more. This is a beautiful one, and this is one that I got from my grandmother. And again, I don't know who decorated this. I think that it was a member of the family. But yeah, this is nice. I like because it has green and pink. And when I was making my Ukrainian Easter eggs, we didn't have those colors. So yeah, so happy Easter. Thank you for indulging me in my little show and tell. Let's get back to stitching. For yeah, the work in progress. I don't have. It was just that sweet pea that I was working on. I do have another finish, a fully finished though. As you know, I really like Jeanette Douglas and her mini bouquets, and so you know what? I'm gonna share a picture right here of the whole series altogether. She is releasing one mini bouquet a month, and every month for the year 2022. So there will be 12 in total. I've already stitched January, February, and March. March, I don't think you saw any of my stitching, so I thought I'll show it to you here. This was sort of what it looked like on the hoop when I was stitching, and this was how I chose to finish it. And how's that? Oh yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, so I turned it into a needle minder, and it's pretty small. I don't think I have a coin to hold it up to. Here's the scissors. So you can see it's pretty tiny. This was done on 40 count linen, and I did one strand, one pulled strand over one strand of linen, and it was a challenge. I needed to keep my magnifiers on pretty much the whole time, which was fine. And it was a challenge I set for myself to create a new or unique finish with every one of the mini bouquets. So that's what I choose for March. Again, tulips. I love tulips. They're one of my favorite flowers, to be honest with you. And I've got some downstairs actually. So yeah, so this way I've always got some tulips and mini bouquet and Jeanette Douglas with me whenever I'm stitching. So yeah, that's my finish for March. Oh, the floss that I used, I didn't use any of the called for. This is mostly hand dyed by Rolanda. Again, these little projects are a great way to experiment with different flosses and to use up. I belong to her Floss of the Month club, so it was a nice way to experiment and use up those flosses. Just if you're wondering how I assembled it, this is about 1¼ inches wide, and I just took the linen and I wrapped it. I literally just wrapped it around a button that I had, and I just sort of gathered it up and pulled it tight with some thread, with some upholstery thread, and whip stitched it closed. And because there's a pin underneath, it's already it'll already attract a magnet. So there's my needle minder. What else have I got in terms of finishes, final finishes? I think that's all the stitching that I have to show, which embarrassingly is not very much. The other stitching I was working on was a small for the smalls exchange at the retreat. I showed that in my Stitch North retreat video. You know what? Because it's my birthday week, let's maybe talk a bit about haul and some of the things that I have been treating myself to lately. And we're gonna start. Actually, let's start with this. I'm getting into floss drops, and I ordered these from Etsy, and I don't know if you can tell. These are actually 3D printed floss drops, and what I loved about them was you've got the smaller ring for your thread ring, and then you've got the larger one, your larger hole to have your floss hanging, and then you've got this little one here. And I thought that was handy just to tie off a skein that you might have on the go. It's too long to throw out, but too short to kind of pull back onto the main bunch of floss. So yeah, I really like these. I got them through Etsy, and he threw in a bonus one. They come in a multitude of colors and a couple of different shapes. So this was a nice bonus one. Ordered from Etsy from a gentleman in Manitoba, actually, and he included a letter. This is the first time I've seen sort of 3D printed floss drops like that. So there might be others out there, but this is the first one that popped up for me. So it's Mills 3D Lab, and again through Etsy. I'll just post a link down below. And he wrote a wonderful letter. He's just getting new into this business, I think, at least on Etsy. And he says, I'm always looking for new ideas to make life simpler and better with my 3D printing business. If you happen to have any other things you would like to have designed or printed out, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I thought that was nice. And of course, it got my brain cogs spinning to think what else it was that I could use. And another thing that he made, it's I don't know what the name is off the top of my head. Some people call it a bone folder. I use it to kind of turn collars or other things. It's almost like a letter. I've got a letter opener here, and this I keep in my little pencil holder nearby. So it was like this concept, but a 3D printed model. So I know it's going to be pretty sturdy. So I thought that was a clever idea. And if you have any suggestions for things you might like to see, just think of that concept of what can be 3D printed. And we can get that news out to him and see what he can do. Another thing I bought not that long ago, well, it just came this in the past few days. I bought, as you might know, I like needles. I enjoy needles. I experiment with needles. So I like trying different models and needles. And this, I'm a big fan of Bowen, and I really love using a Bowen needle when I'm stitching. And I found these. So Bowen, and these are actually for cotton embroidery. And yeah, embroidery for cotton embroidery. There's 6 in the pack. There's not a size number, and we know needles aren't that expensive, so, or at least these aren't. So I thought I would pick up a set, and the tip is kind of, I don't know if that's reading it all. It's not sharp, but it's not also fully blunt. So if you guys have used these, let me know. I've never given them a try. I'm looking forward to trying these out just to see what they're about. It's interesting that there's no gauge. There's no size. It's only embroidery for cotton embroidery. That's the only description. So I look forward to trying these. And speaking of needles, on the advice of a viewer and their comments, thank you so much for commenting. And she suggested I check out a set of needles from the Cross Stitch Guild. And you know what? I did. And you know what? I couldn't resist. So this is sort of a birthday treat to me. It came in this little plastic box to house them, and they're called the Pluperfect needles, and this is their Pluperfect needle collection. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Isn't that amazing? How amazing is that? So in the needle selection, it came with a beading needle, there's a sewing needle, there's a curved needle, which is great for doing those small finishes, and it's a size 22 tapestry needle, and then we've got 2 24s, 2 26s, and 2 28s. And I actually used the size 28 on the on my little mini bouquet finish here. So I used the 28 on that, and it's really nice. It's really nice. They're fully gold plated. It's not just the eye. And I think what's special about these, I mean, I don't know what a regular gold plating would be for needles, but I do know that the gold plated needles I have, they tend to wear off. The finish, the gold tends to wear off. And these are guaranteed. So if the gold wears off just through normal use, then apparently they will replace them. So can you quote me? I don't know. Check their website. It's the Cross Stitch Guild. And anyways, I I look forward to giving all of these a try. And yeah, the stitching that I did, I mean, the gold is still intact, so that's good news. I also picked up something new, something different, something unusual from the Cross Stitch Guild, and it's some banding. There are two kinds of bands in here. They're both linen. One of them has a jacquard border, and the other one is just a plain border. And I thought that these might be fun to try. They sell them by the measurement, so you can buy a foot or a meter. I can't remember what their unit of measurement is. They're based in the UK, and this was nice and flat to mail, so I thought it was an easy thing to order. So I think they might be fun for doing a little needle book or sort of a miniature drum shape, a bookmark, of course. So I look forward to seeing what designs I can stitch with these. So that was also part of my haul. And I guess, is this a haul, or it will be a new start? I've talked about this before. Yep. 1844 Lady Man by Bendy Stitchy Designs. Michelle Garrett, Michelle Bendy Stitchy. I kitted this up, and I kitted it up in the DMC, the called for DMC. Sorry for the noise. I kitted it up using the called for DMC, and it's a great range of colors. It's a smallish design. I mean, it's not a small, but it's smaller relatively speaking. And it's using a lot of colors. So a lot of the colors aren't used for very many stitches. And I thought that just because of the nature of the design, there's not a lot of shading or graduation in the colors. So I thought that this would be a safe pattern to do some swap outs. So I plan on subbing out some of these DMCs with Roxy and Leo and Roxy floss, and hand-dyed by Rolanda, just some of my stash. So I'm looking forward to that. And the fabric that I'm going to use, the linen, it is Seraphim, and it is 32 count Jack Frost Belfast linen, so 32 count, and it's Zweigart base, dyed by Seraphim, and I think that the colors work really well with this. So let's do our little floss tuss here. I mean, yeah, there's the color. That's working pretty well. So please join me. I'm doing a sal. My hashtag is Ryan's First Sal. Put it down here, Ryan's First Sal. So yeah, this is my birthday start, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, what else do we have here? It's oh, okay, so work in progress actually. For knitting, I've been working on I guess it's all about the smalls. I've been working on a knitting small, and this is from Mochi Mochi Land. And it's a great website. Check it out. Put it here below. And I have, if you've watched an episode or two, you might have met my cat Stanley. And so I am I'm knitting a little Stanley. I'm just in the process of putting his spots on, his little contrasting tail. And I just need to add his ears and his eyes, and he's actually going to sit inside a box, so I need to knit the box too. So I'll just share with you what the finished product will look like. I haven't decided on a box color yet. I've been using leftover bits from my self-striping sock yarn from Timber Yarns, and yeah, I just need to pick a color from the last pair of socks that I knit, and make a box in that. So this is my first, I think it's amigurumi I think that's what they might call it. So this is my first kind of miniature knitting project, and it's the first time in quite a while that I've been using double pointed needles. So it's I'm used to using sort of the magic loop method with a pair of needles with a cable in between. And when you're knitting with double pointed needles, you've got a lot of points where you can lose or drop a stitch. So they always make me nervous, but it ended up being fine. The scale, of course, is quite small. Yeah, I guess going through a small phase. But yeah, I'm happy with the way that this is turning out. And speaking, so I hope to have it finished for the next time I film. And speaking of timber yarns, I did place an order and receive an order for a colorway that I just absolutely fell in love with. It's called Tulips. Again, spring, April, mini bouquets, tulips. Jennifer shared an image on her Instagram account. It was so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and it was the inspiration for this particular color palette. And so if I can share with you, here's Tulips. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, with a little squishy love. But yeah, I just fell in love with these colors, and I have to say, in the video here, they're reading pretty true. The lighter green is not so neon in real life, but it is a very vivid palette. So I think I'd also like to, I mentioned in a previous video, I'd like to try knitting something that wasn't socks with a pair of the self-striping yarns. So I'm still on a hunt for a project for that. And this actually, my mom is coming to visit, and she's a huge knitter. So I may actually say, Mom, do you wanna knit a pair of socks? Because I think she would love these colors, and she would definitely wear something like this, I hope. So that's timber yarns. So more timber yarns as part of that order. I also ordered one called Hocus Pocus, and I think that's because it's supposed to be Halloween. But I love neon. I love neon so much. So this is Hocus Pocus. It's black bands alternating with purple and pink and green and orange. So yeah, these are going to be awesome. I mean, this is definitely neon. So that, and a progress keeper. Progress keeper. It's a little witch. Cute. So I'm looking forward. This I'll probably save for the winter. This might be fun to knit in warmer weather, just because the colors are so much fun. I mean, these are fun colors too, but you know what I mean. I think I used to have a hard time knitting in the summer, just because, you know, you think knitting and wool and yarn and heat and sun, it just doesn't marry very well, at least for me. So it might be different. And I think we've come to the bottom of my pile. There's only one last thing remaining, and it's for my giveaway, my very first giveaway. And this is material that I picked up. The lovely ladies from Brin Nedle at the retreat at Stitch North were so amazing and kind and generous. And here's the business card. Fibers dyed by hand in Newfoundland and Labrador. There's their website. Great Instagram. It was lovely meeting them. And they were kind enough to share with me a design, a chart, and some skeins of floss. And I couldn't be happier to, well, actually, I would be happy to stitch it, but I couldn't be happier to share this with a lucky viewer. So the chart is Quirky Quaker Moose by Darling and Whimsy Designs. And if you watch Michelle Bendy, you know, and others are also working their way through the Quirky Quakers series. There's quite a few, and I picked up a set of 3 at the retreat from Brin Nedle, and so yeah, I thought that this would be a great thing to stitch, and the floss that we chose is the floss are these 3 colors. This one is Lassie Moggs, and they explained this is a molasses biscuit, and I actually did. Wasn't it a beautiful color? This is very true to what it looks like. Yeah, I googled and found the recipe, so of course I need to make some Lassie Moggs. And then we have Old Hag, and the inspiration for this name is apparently if you're having a dream or a nightmare and you're not able to wake yourself up, it's because the old hag is sitting on your chest. So Old Hag, and this is Maban. And again, beautiful color. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go online and buy these all myself. But this I think is named for one of the Celtic Sabbaths. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so the giveaway will include these 3 colors of hand-dyed floss from Brin Nedle, and it will include the quirky Quaker moose. And we'll use the random comment generator to, is that right? To pick a random comment if you mention the word moose. We'll say moose, M-O-O-S-E, not mouse, moose. And you have to be 18 or over. Mention the word moose in the comments. You should be a subscriber, and please do not mention giveaway or anything of that nature. YouTube is not affiliated with this in any way. So yeah, if you're interested in receiving this, I'll send it anywhere around the world, and we will hold a draw for the next episode. So thank you for watching. Please, everyone, be well, take care, and I'll see you next time.